ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 7th Esports World Championship here in Seoul, South Korea. My name is Reed Rapids Melt, and I'm joined by Marika Kennard, the sport player for the South African delegation here at IESF, and we have made it all the way to the League of Legends Grand Finals.
And now we have a best of 5 between Korea and China, just to come out on top. We have quite a few things up for grabs here. If Korea wins, Serbia will be the world champions. But let's see if China can take this away.
That's true. And if China wins, of course, they will place first here at IESF and take home the Esports World Championship number 7 for China. So a lot on the line here. And for both teams, they represent some of the strongest competition here this year at IESF. China, undefeated on their trip to the World Championship Finals. And of course, Korea, almost undefeated. They just dropped one game to Romania. So now let's take a look at exactly what I was talking about earlier, the route that both teams took here to get to the finals.
Well, I must say, Romania taking a game off Korea was a big upset, but it doesn't really show that they're weak. We have Serbia against Thailand, Serbia just not making it for Korea, and then we have Korea versus China now.
That's true. That will be the grand finals, of course. China not with any roadblocks in their way. A shaky quarterfinal match, kind of a little bit concerning, at least for me. But what's going to be the big focus for tonight's game is going to be at the jungle and support synergy for Korea. It's a big combo that's worked in other small regions. Japan really favors that, and of course, Korea here, a lot of focus there. Lee Sin and Bard, two huge picks. And if you guys didn't catch the semifinal games yesterday, make sure to go back and watch them. Some of the best Lee Sin and Bard play we've seen the entire tournament. And actually, for the for both supports, even the Chinese support, Bard and Thresh are both two big picks. So we're going to see a lot of contested picks between both of these teams.
I must say, it's the first time I saw Bard being viable. But Lee Sin is just too strong at the moment here. People are just contesting it too hard. It's pick or ban here, especially for these two teams.
And it's pick or bans that we are going to go in here, so stick around. We've got picks and bans coming up for game number 1 of this best of 5 IESF Grand Final. Here we go, picks and bans coming your way. Korea on the blue side, winning that coin flip, and of course China there on the right. You can see the big support player for Korea, actually pretty small in real life, but when he picks Bard, is a force to be reckoned with. So keep an eye on that support pick. But speaking of support picks, we're going to see 2 banned out already, Alistar and Lulu. The Dr. Mundo and Gangplank ban to follow. No questions on that Gangplank ban. You'll see it every single game because Even is an incredible Gangplank player. However, another incredible source of strength for the Korean team has been Lee Sin. So watch to see the Chinese squad ban that away before risking giving it away.
And Tom Ken was not going to make it through here either. I mean, Tom has been amazing. So in every scene, it's just too strong right now. It can peel for any carry, it can save any team fight. It just turns the game around too hard, too fast. And Gangplank melts absolutely everything. But with Alistar Tristana combo we've been seeing recently, this just takes it out of the equation completely. So, and the Thresh, of course.
Okay, so this means that at least 1 power pick's getting away, possibly 2. A Hecarim lock-in. If you guys watch the 3rd and 4th place match immediately preceding this grand finals, you'll know how key a pick that is. Now, we talked about how strong Colorless's Bard play was in the semifinal matches yesterday, but it's a big, not necessarily a secret, but if you check out the solo queue rankings, the matches for Teacher, you see that he has an incredible win rate on Bard, so that's actually going to both take it away from Colorless and give Teacher one of his strongest support picks.
Well, have we seen Teacher on Bard here?
No, we have not seen him on Bard actually in the broadcasted matches, but at least in solo queue and some of their competitive games and practice beforehand, he is an incredible Bard player. Of course, we haven't seen it, but we're about to.
What I am shocked about is Lee Sin getting through 1st, 2nd, and now 3rd pick.
Well, now, the thing about Lee Sin is that he traditionally does very poorly against Rek'Sai, and with that pick left available, that does mean that if a Lee Sin gets locked in, you're immediately going to see it countered with a Rek'Sai pick. But a big pick that, seemingly, not necessarily without its counters, but one of the strongest top laners in League of Legends today. Jack's about to get locked in, even picking that up for NRF.
This is the first time I've seen Jack since I've been sitting here with you. It's not been a great pick here, but it's strong. I know in solo queue it destroys absolutely everything. Oh, wait.
Okay, swapping it around, thinking about changing it up into an Irelia.
That's more like it.
That is a little bit of a departure from the Jax play that we've seen consistently. And for NRF, traditionally, like you said, a big Hecarim player in his own right, it feels a little bit interesting to see the Irelia pick up here. We have not seen Irelia prioritized for really any top laner other than the Romanian top laner Blorn. So it does feel a little bit interesting to see that one there. But oh man, wait, yeah, it's probably going to be Kennen's support there. But the big pick to watch out for is going to be Fire Rain's Varus. It's one of his strongest champions, if not his strongest, and certainly one of the strongest players on the team. I think 700 points challenger in Korean solo queue. He is pretty ridiculous on that champion. We got to see it play yesterday, but what are we going to see here from Even? Hovering over the Ryze pick, but also equally strong on champions like Echo. Of course, the Gangplank there as well, but Twisted Fate looking to come in there, or a Ryze. I'd like to see the Ryze here just for consistent lockdown. So you've got things like Cosmic Bindings, Ryze, Prisons, and then of course the stuns from Equilibrium Strike, and hovering over it does look like the Ryze will get locked in.
Ryze has been devastating this tournament. I am worried for Korea's sake here, but a Kennen support here at the World Champs. What a time to be alive.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how both of these supports do. They're both ranged, both pretty mobile when you think about the Lightning Rush on Kennen and being thrown in, even with his ult on, by that Fate's call. So, of course, big power picks in the mid lane. We talked about that already. Question marks on the Lee Sin, but you can tell China was already prepared to play the Rek'Sai, so you don't want to pick into that counter matchup, even if Chieftain's Lee Sin was devastatingly strong over the course of the semifinals.
So I can see Korea, they will not mess around this game. This is all in. This is destruction, non-stop plays being made. As soon as they hit level 6, this is not going to be a quiet game. I am seeing China trying to postpone, but we'll see.
Let's go ahead and get into our first game, the best of 5 grand finals for the 7th Esports World Championship in League of Legends, coming your way, Korea versus China.
And we are in.
Grand Finals about to get underway. Korea versus China, game number 1 in our best of 5 Grand Finals. China, of course, starting off on the red side, and a signature strategy of this Chinese team has been the 5-man deep jungle invade for lane swap ward coverage. However, in a departure from that for the first time seen this tournament, they're actually spreading out for a safe level 1.
I think they respect Korea way too much to try 3v5 them early game, but standard, as you say. This is not some. I expect some mad plays later on from them because their strats are yet to be revealed.
All right, well, we are going to see Colorless versus Teacher. That's an exciting matchup for me. After watching some of Teacher's Alistar play yesterday, that's the combo I really expected to see here with Tristana. It's what China has run over and over again as their preferred duo lane pick. And really for Teacher, this is a debut performance at IESF for Bard, but over the course of just his support play in general, it's one of his strongest personal picks. See how it transfers here into competitive play at IESF.
I'm glad to see they end lane swapping today, because I would love to see the Tristana Bard go up against the Kalista Kennen. The Bard has a bit more sustain early game, which won't really matter later on, but when the level 6 fight breaks out, the Hecarim TP's Bard, we'll see some cool shit.
Fire Rain originally went by the Korean ID by deficiency. So, of course, not too many deficiencies if you make your way all the way to the grand finals of IESF. And in case you guys are wondering about both of these teams, where they're coming from and haven't heard of them before. So you see the VG tags on the Chinese representatives. They're actually the academy team for the LPL lineup for Vici Gaming. They train with the main lineup. They've got a lot of professional competitive experience there in those trainings. And, of course, coming here to IESF representing China very well as the only remaining undefeated team here in the World Championships.
I'm excited to see how the Varus plays against the Rise, because the Rise is such a weak early game, but his Varus has been strong throughout. I would like to see Varus take a lead in the beginning here.
Well, the problem with Varus versus this Rise is that eventually, once you hit level 6, once you get up towards that Rod of Ages, there's so much sustain just innately there that Varus shouldn't have too much pressure to be put on there. However, pressure, of course, is almost Chieftain's middle name as much as he puts that on Lee Sin, already starting off with an early gank, even at level 2. So keep in mind that is a gank coming in a little bit ahead of schedule.
Well, we can see.
Tunneling under the wall, though. Destron up towards top lane, getting the knock-up. Of course, doesn't have red buff, doesn't actually have any buff. What on earth is that? He leaves both of his major buffs up and just goes for that early gank. That's a pretty interesting jungle path. I haven't seen that one done this tournament, so already some departures from traditional Vici Gaming Academy play here on the Chinese roster. Of course, speaking of the Korean roster, this is a team called Fog. They're the best net cafe team in Korea, and in fact, in order to qualify to represent Korea at IESF, here in Seoul, they did have to win their regional matchups and then face off against the second place LAN Cafe tournament team, which of course they did beat to advance here to the finals. Now, a little bit of a smattering of talent in this Korean roster. Let's go ahead and take a look at what Chieftain's about to. Nice dodge on the Cocoon. A lot of damage down there. There's Ignite Flash away from underneath the turret. Chieftain repelling out. Is going to get away. The red buff ticking down. It's just not enough. Now, Lonely does have a minion wave following up here, but Korea drawing first blood in the grand finals.
Crowd going wild for that play. Yo. Beautiful. Beautiful from Chieftain.
Impressive play there. Chieftain, last second flash before being stunned underneath turret range. Would have been a guaranteed kill, but man, perfect play there. We've seen incredible plays by Chieftain on Lee Sin, so that's of course undeniable, but at least he missed the binding there, but even just that minor hesitation by NRF wind up leading to his untimely demise.
That pink ward has been helping them spot out Rek'Sai. He should clear it soon. He's quite a man that likes to spot out that tiny bush.
Bottom lane, Bokimbop and Colorless. In case you guys are wondering about Bokimbop, he is actually I think a rice dish of some sort. Fried rice, something along those lines. But I'm not sure about the exact translation, of course. Thousands of people watching can correct me. Of course, down there with Colorless, Colorless's name originally translated into Poker Face. So maybe he's got one of those on as he plays his support Kennen, running that with Ignite as well. So very aggressive summoner spell there, and puts Teacher with those same summoner spells as well. Now, Teacher, one of the biggest things that he was very well known for on Alistar is his roam game. Still going to translate very well to this Bard play. That's one of the things we've seen so effective from Colorless that I'm interesting to see whether or not that is the same strategy he goes for on Kennen, because it looks like he's actually sticking very close to Bokimbop over the course of this early game.
We can see the pink ward war up on the minimap between Hecarim and Aurelia, as Korea just got 2 pink wards out early, and Aurelia making a point of it to take it out.
So nice to eliminate that vision. Of course, you can see Elise actually kind of protecting that pink ward, just sticking around and making sure that that is a source of strength in vision, in the river, and of course taking out the Scuttle Crab to add even more vision up there. Of course, important to keep the ward coverage strong in a Varus lane. Very immobile AD carry, specifically pre-6 when he doesn't really have that ult for disengage and gets jumped on, so something to keep an eye on. Beautiful stun there by Teacher. How did that latch? It's incredible. And there's the last auto attack. Teacher well deserving of the first kill for China.
Wow. Great gank, great follow-up. He saw Elise in the top lane, so he knew this was an easy kill bot lane as she walked over a ward.
These Bard bindings, whether it's Colorless's incredible binds yesterday or Teacher's great bind right there, actually pretty incredible to watch. And Bard has been such a big pick this tournament. I believe Korea did play it once in their group stage games that we unfortunately didn't get a chance to watch, but I didn't have time to double check that one after hearing about it. So Chieftain back towards the mid lane, okay. Pretty sure Varus ult is the most missed ultimate ability in League of Legends. Oh man, able to get those chainsaws up. Even with that exhaust, it's just not enough. Even turning on the pressure for the second kill in the mid lane.
That is Rise level 6. But the problem here is there's too many wards from China in their jungle. It's just two, but too much. Too many.
It's just incredible to see Even's recognition. As soon as Fire Rain makes the slightest little misstep away from the minion wave, he lands the perfect cue to start getting those resets chained in there, and just absolutely incredible plays. So I'm going to use the word incredible a lot here, so I'll try to think of some synonyms, but it's just what comes to mind whenever you see sick plays like that. So got to keep an eye on the rest of the map, though, and talk about a little bit of the Hecarim play. We just got a chance to see Kolashot GG, the Serbian top laner, dominate with Hecarim in their series versus Switzerland, 3rd and 4th place match. And now coming in here, the pick still translates. And interesting to see the Korean team pick this one, because it's a pick that really originated in Korea with forerunners like CB Max, a very popular top lane in Korea. But oh man, they're getting the flash engage once again, even with the chain CC. Fire Rain, one more Q is all it's going to take.
Wow.
That is not it. And underneath turret, it's a perfect turnaround for Chieftain.
That is some great follow-up. Lack of vision. Wards expiring. That's what you need.
Lonely gonna get tunneled under on and running right back towards his turret.
Blowing that ulti and sitting him behind for a teleport gank.
Now the teleport actually down for NRF as he was able to get back up there. But for Lonely, an ultimate down means that his teleports won't really be all that effective. Speaking of, I guess, pseudo-teleports, Destron able to come back out onto the map with the farm alarm and sound that towards the mid lane. Securing that up there, but man, even, he got robbed there. He had the kill, he had the flash, and really Fire Rain not respecting that. However, he does have that Chains of Corruption backup, so if he's able to hit it this time around, could be an opportunity to punish this Rise immobility. But speaking of punishing immobility, Destron waiting off towards the side, gonna get the chilling spine. There's the flash, there's the knockup, there's the chain CC. Even helping out Destron there to pick up the kill.
Is this going to happen every time
Yes,
Rise
every single time. And you can really see maybe a strategy pick to punish this Varus pick. Now, keep in mind, not a guarantee that Fire Rain would have gone for the Varus. Also a very strong Yasuo player and has highlight videos of his Victor plays, so can expect to see that maybe a little bit later on. Lonely going in on to NRF, but unable to really follow. Missing on the cocoon, takes a turret shot. I think NRF's okay with that. But meanwhile, mid lane.
A little bit of push, but I must say this Hecarim is having a little bit of trouble against Aurelia. We actually see a counter for once, if it's not null.
Now, I wouldn't expect that to be an incredibly strong counter, because traditionally Hecarim just builds tons and tons of armor, and even into that Frozen Heart early on, which you can see Lonely building. Great at limiting the effectiveness of an attack speed-based champion like Aurelia.
Seeing some counter deep wards.
Chieftain's okay with this. Now, keep in mind, he just popped that Rek'Sai tunnel. Rek'Sai can see that. So he's pretty sure, and when he burrows, he's actually able to see champions that move. Now, he'll be able to see Fire Rain moving up, but he won't be able to see this, and Destron actually able to tunnel away. There's the repel. Chieftain getting knocked out, but it's not enough. Chieftain picking up another kill for Korea.
And this is what the people have been saying. They've been saying Chieftain is the star player of Korea. This is the man you have to watch. Him and Colorless, of course.
I was going to say, you can't not mention Colorless when you talk about MVPs for this Korean lineup, but Chieftain just absolutely ridiculous. This guy knows its limits immaculately. Bokenbop might be about to get fried there. Flash away from the Cosmic Binding. Teleport forced out. Not sure about that tempered fate, but a disengage successfully, and knocking Colors back away. He's still going to get back in there. There's the Buster Shot, the damage down onto Avenger, but no kill for Korea in the bottom lane.
Really fast reaction from Justana there.
Yeah, right before she got stunned.
Yes.
So great timing there. Unfortunately, the minion wave up top lane. NRF trying to turn that one back around, dashing on forward. Lonely able to run it back alive.
Barely. This, he will really need some support from the Italy's. I know he's been getting a lot, but it really will get out of hand.
When Destron tunneled into rain, he passed within view of a minion. So Pop and Colorless know he's there. He's tunneling back away and, of course, able to get out of there. I think he actually just walked out of the bottom lane. So not quite as sneaky as he wanted to be, but man, Chieftain's ganks this game on point. We have yet to see him really fail one of those. I think his first one's not quite working as effectively, but he's had some effective ones. Now up towards the top half of the map after handing blue over to Fire Rain. And Fire Rain is really maybe the point of weakness here for the Korean roster. He's 0-2. You know what item I don't like to see in my mid lane Varus's rush? Mercury Treads. Not a build that I've necessarily seen before, but into a Hex Drinker. Okay, that is some very defensive itemization for Fire Rain. Traditionally, you see a lot of Varus's go for like a Tear of the Goddess first, or maybe into something along the lines of an Essence Reaver on the current patch, but neither one of those picked up. Just going for Longsword into Longsword, and of course those Mercury Treads up there. But top lane there, perfect cocoon! Chieftain on top of these ganks, on top of the lanes, and Lonely there to pick up his second kill of the game.
That means free dragon for them though, but I do expect a top tower out of this.
I was going to say, as bad as it feels to give away the first dragon, it's still relatively early on. That percentage damage won't be incredibly high, and taking out this top lane turret will allow Lonely to rotate down towards another lane if he wants to, and continue to put more and more of that pressure out onto the map.
Oh, some
In for the red buff, this is a little bit of punishment that Vici Gaming Academy can put on the Fog. Now, turret going down up top lane, red buff and dragon being taken out here by the Chinese team, and possibly even a bottom lane turret as well. You can see that mysteriously magical journey, getting them down here to be able to take out an outer turret of their own. So really good objective trades there by China, recognizing exactly how far they can push their advantage, getting a few objectives off of that.
We've seen teams struggle with this decision making, just like taking a little too much and then throwing the game. China just does this perfectly. Yesterday, the day before, they've been consistent.
Letting that turret kill off as many creeps as possible before finally taking it down. Turret a piece for both sides, but Dragon will give that slight edge in power over to Vici Academy. So we're here at about 14-15 minutes into the game. Not quite mid-game, but you can see a few things start to transpire. One, Chieftain. He's all about killing people. A needlessly large rod about to build into a Rylai's Crystal Scepter here inevitably. But interesting for me to see Lonely. A lot of pressure invested by Chieftain to gank that top lane consistency instead of trying to counter gank for Fire Rain, a lane that was already losing for the Korean team. So I want to see how well that translates out of lane phase now that Hecarim's already taken that outer top lane turret.
Well, Irelia can still split push against him way harder than he can because she's still stronger than him, for the time being at least.
Right, and some big power, of course, on China's side. They've got a like 20 CS lead for NRF up top lane, 25, something along those lines. Even in the mid lane, too, has just been dominating Fire Rain. Granted, that's been off of the gank pressure, so that kind of feels bad, but Fire Rain right now, he's built so defensively, and that's all that magic resistance does nothing when he's just farming under turret.
But will this Varus be as strong as Ryze late game? Was this not a tiny mistake by them?
Well, the Varus play actually wasn't very strong yesterday either. It certainly wasn't the carrying force on the team. That was certainly cheap and colorless. But this time around, we're going to have to keep an eye on the lane swaps. That's the big thing. Outside of the lane phase, what do you do? Well, for Fog, they want to take down this outer bottom lane turret and start to rotate around to take these objectives. For China, they actually walked into the Rift, it's not the Rift Scuttler, the Rift Herald. There we go. Like, wait, those Scuttlers don't deal damage. Rift Herald actually does a lot. They take down the Rift Herald. They're going to use this most likely to push, but pushing Lonely out of the top lane, even without that buff, they will take a second tier turret or a second outer turret of their own.
And here we don't see an answer from Korea. People are just wandering around, Elise still farming jungle, and Hecarim recalling. If they keep pushing this, they might get a tiny bit of damage on it.
Sniping away that cannon minion, able to take a few more CS along with him, and almost perfect.
They might just force this tower.
This is where Vici Gaming makes their big move. what they do is they start to play very carefully, but also more and more aggressively, just seeing every little advantage that they can get here. So what they're going to do is go very deep into the enemy top lane, or top jungle. They put down 3-4 wards up there just to make sure they know everything that's happening up there. And now what they're going to do is rotate towards the bottom half of the map, but look for ward coverage there as well. Or at least that's what I would expect to see Teacher do. He's actually going to go back to base and pick up a pink ward and renew those sight stones.
Rise just trying to surprise the Varus, but he will find a Callista.
Can't spell surprise without Rise. He is up top lane. Teleport coming in, though. Can they take out even? Here comes Hecarim. Now, if there's one champion that 2v1s very, very well, it is Rise. Counter teleport coming in. Immediate cleanse there on the Rise. Backwards he goes, but in again. And now NRF with a lot of damage there on to Lonely. Lonely should die here, but here comes Colorless. He takes out Rise. He's got some follow-up. Teacher, of course, joining the fight there for VG Gaming Academy, who will crush through 1, 2, 3 champions on the Korean lineup. But here's Fire Rain. Has to watch out for Avenger. Flash away from the Tempered Fate, and Avenger joining the fight, looking for a kill of his own on a Chieftain.
All I can say about that is greed. Complete greed. You don't have vision in their jungle, but you keep chasing and chasing with no vision on anybody for that matter.
As soon as NRF's teleport started, the Korean team should realize, hey, we got some bad news coming up in the top lane. A very strong Aurelia, still no Trinity Force completed, but didn't even need that at that point. Just going in, doing hashtag things Aurelia does, getting on the back line, and then of course Chieftain kind of got hung out to dry there on the repel. So Fire Rain, you saw there a distinct lack of power. He's still going to be able to hit that Essence Reaver, but all that MR early game, those consistent ganks from Destron really set him so much further behind than even.
He's not even properly tickling them. You can just see the health bar stay the same, slightly, and then the ult coming down for the CC. Now, at this point, he's not very useful. They need to stall it. But if they stall it, they have Rise.
Well, I was going to say, even at this point, starting to get to that critical mass. He is down a little bit in CS, but he's right on par with his items. He's already got a Rod of Ages starting to stack up. I think he has, like, what, 4 stacks on it already, and building up towards that Seraph's Embrace, which is just going to help make him incredibly strong. 10
seconds for Dragon, but we do see the red side pushing up on the top side, so they do have that slight advantage. A little bit of damage on the tower.
Tower damage. Really effective for the Chinese team as they've been able to take down all of the outer turrets. But like I was saying, Destron this game, even though he was planning to pick Rek'Sai as a Lee Sin counter, still great on the champion here versus Chieftain, who, to be fair, has been great in his own right. However, one dragon after another, third dragon especially valuable off those the move speed buff that it gives. Chieftain prioritizing ganks and champion kills, but not really on top of those objectives. Korea content to leave them up and give them away every time. So what's the next move here for Vici Academy? They're going to clear out some ward coverage and look to create some safety off of a lot of ward coverage of their own, but really going to have to keep an eye here on NRF. He's got his Trinity Force completed, a lot of power there, and even though Hecarim may have a counter item in that Frozen Heart, it's not going to stop Aurelia from jumping on the backline, especially if that backline is Fire Rain. He is going to have a lot of struggles.
I was going to say there's no move they need to make right now.
Tempered Fate locking down the turret. Destron will get stunned out there. Another chain CC. Destron in a little bit of trouble. Does have those Mercury Treasure Repel coming in. There's a lot of damage. Piercing Arrow following it out. There is Lonely going to the back line. Destron is out of there. Lonely to pick up the kill for Korea.
Not that this will allow them to do much. China can just delay their push for a bit. Korea's delaying China's push, but at the moment this is not helping much. Power spike they've reached. They've got these core items right now. Aurelia just picked up a Trinity Force a few minutes ago, and now going for more armor. This does not look good for Varus, especially having no proper AP except for Kennen.
Right, armor penetration is a little bit rough with the new Last Whisper. It's only penetrating percentage bonus armor, so keep an eye on that. And I mean, while Chieftain has had a strong presence in the early game from the jungle, really the only lane, it's only Lonely while his love may be vengeance, never seen. The 3-1 score, still carry potential left up there. Fire Rain behind, Lonely ahead. Bokenbop, that's the big question for me. Needs that Rune's Hurricane, there we go. Got it. To really start to pick up the pace as far as his carry potential. So still some big items left to see. Seraph's Embrace not quite online, still stacking up at Archangel Staff.
Well,
one step at a time.
We haven't seen China utilize Tristana as the other teams have this weekend. Or this week.
That's true. Usually you want to rotate that around for turret kills, and while, yes, Vici Gaming Academy were able to pick those up, it's going to be interesting to see exactly what Avenger's role in this team is, because we've seen a consistent strategy from Tristana's this tournament. Some even taking exhaust because they want to jump in. That's Avenger's style, not the exhaust necessarily, but using that rocket jump to either start the fight where he'll jump in and then flash immediately back out to blow cooldowns, or possibly, even going to use that cleanse immediately, locking down colors. Will get pulled in there by the Fate's Call. They're going to throw him out again. Oh, double lockdown there from the Peppered Fate. We got NRF very, very low. Chieftain there with a kill. Avenger though taking out colors. It's a shutdown for Chieftain in the backline. Still very, very strong. It's a triple kill for Tristana. Destron very low there. Chieftain trying to get away. Is forced to flash away there. Turns around for the Cocoon. Wants to turn around for a kill. Needs to watch out for that explosive shot about to explode. It's not going to be enough for the kill, but even chasing him through this turret. Chieftain looking for the cooldown there. Will repel away. He's actually, wait, what? How did he kill Avenger?
Tower.
Oh my god. Chieftain able to kill off Avenger without even really trying. Now, Cocoon cooldown is available. Chieftain on the run of his life. He possibly has some turnaround. He's got a ton of ability power, but he needs to watch out for those creeps. He's just running. He's looking for the execute. Gonna wait it out and make sure that he gets this one. One more turret shot, and he's out of there. Execute successful. Chieftain. So good.
Crowd appreciating what they did seeing, definitely. But Chieftain is so good at what he does. This was such a bad play from Korea though, but Chieftain, he's just showing us what a jungler should be like.
Why would you say that's a bad play for Korea?
No, a bad play from engaging from the bottom. It was... Okay, I would say it's a good play from China. I should actually say that.
Hey, there you go.
Yes.
For China, a couple of their good plays have been off of, Destron setting up consistent ganks for even. But man, Teacher's Bardolts have been so good. A two-man lockdown in that last fight, really just keeping Bokenbop completely out of the fight. And, Colorless, he got chunked down so early that Bokenbop actually had to pull him in with Fate's Call while his ult was still running, so really limiting that effectiveness. And then with Teacher limiting it further, the dual lane still yet to show up and really going to be a source of power that you're going to see Korea need more and more when that persistent damage continues to become more valuable as the game goes on.
The issue here as well for Korea is they are so squishy. Yes, you have Hecarim, tanky, but he's not a tank. He's not a Aurelia. He does more damage.
I was gonna say, yeah, for Hecarim, he started building full tank and is now gonna transition into a Trinity Force. While yes, still a power spike, not still the same potency as you'd see a Trinity Force rush like NRF was able to do.
And he just picked it up.
I was gonna say, yeah, completing it right there. So for all intents and purposes, the solo lanes even in the top side of the map, but the mid lane's a big discrepancy there. Sure, Varus getting that last whisper, able to penetrate the armor the bonus armor that Destron and NRF have built, but not quite on the same level that even is right there. 2 mana items completed. His cleanse about to come off cooldown. He's even got the Mercury Treads too, and that's gonna be a very hard rise to stop. Gonna go ahead and turn on that ultimate. Does he want to go in? Does he want to go out? Very careful. Weighs his options and decides to back away.
Well, they can now try capitalize on this. The Rise ulti being down. It's rid of most of the life steal.
Yeah, those 2 little meats following Teacher around. Kind of bugging me. They're just like so cute. They're walking around. Nothing you can do to them. Just watch them walk around. There's the Bardo. What? How did Fire Rain die? Did he dodge that with Flash?
He didn't dodge it at all. He had Flash off.
Okay.
What? Pink ward bug again.
That is somewhat confusing because it appears that if that hit, maybe I'm just seeing things. I'm going to have to check that one out one more time. But the push is still strong in the forward direction up the mid lane. Able to put some pressure here on this turret. No Bard ult means no way to punish this push for Korea.
They are there for the dragon. They do not want to give this over to Korea right now, but it's gone.
I'm so confused about that, but
yes.
I'm just going to move on and try to talk about this teleport coming in. Here is NRF. He's going to go into a 2v1 situation. Knows he's got a 2v2 once Destron gets there. Bokenbop will be able to cleanse his way out of that with QSS. Still cutting backwards and backwards and backwards. NRF with his shutdown, able to take him out. Colorless dead as well, and Vici Gaming Academy all of a sudden 5 alive on the bottom half of the map, and really more than the Korean duo lane could muster. Teacher going the distance, miss on that cocoon. Can they turn around for the damage onto Avenger? He's got that shield, he's got the damage. Okay, I'm not sure about that jump in, but still he's got an entire team of Chinese players around him and kind of pushing forward further and further. This will be a very difficult hold unless Fire Rain can clear this out with a big piercing arrow. This base turn's going down.
This is 25 seconds on Kennen, but he doesn't have ult. He's not going to have such an impact. They can try bait it out. They can wait outside base. They're pinging outside base.
Pinging away, their teleport's up
mid.
on Lonely. So Lonely can go for a flank there, but not really even very many low health bars here for Vici Academy. Representing China here. IESF 7th World Championship. Oh, Colorless does stop a couple of recalls there. Lonely's going in for the flank, clearing out wards on his way. So tense.
I don't know if Colorless is worth it on Kennen. He needs a champion he can make more plays on. I know Kennen is amazing. He does the stuns, but he doesn't have the damage right now because he is support Kennen.
Well, yeah, he is speccing defensively too, and while that Locket of the Iron Solari is super good, specifically against, like Rise, maybe some teacher damage there as well, but specifically Rise, that's the big idea behind Colorless. He wants to ensure that Bokenbop is always as strong as possible. That's why you also see the QSS completed there on Bokenbop. So they're just making maximum safety down there in the dual lane. If this game draws on, sure, Rise scales ridiculously hard, but that dual lane, so much CC, the ability to not only save your support by pulling him in with Space Crawl, but also the QSS going to come in there for extra defenses. That's going to be a difficult lane to deal with if it gets strong. Now, of course, decidedly not strong right now, but it's been up to Chieftain and Lonely to carry this early game, and man, have they ever done that.
I must say, NRF has been doing work as well. He's so scary. Let's see if they can get another tower from this. This should be free. Hekram is bot, he has TP, they do not have a ward behind them for this.
Turret being sieged, there's the explosive shot, and boom goes the dynamite. Destron, though, locked up a little bit, half health taken down, and using that cooldown on Lock of the Iron Solari. He'll be back up in a little bit. Interesting to see the Mercurial Scimitar completed early for Avenger. A very different item here in Preseason 6. Patch 5.23. It's gives you life steal, gives you CDR, some. In fact, there used to be an ARAM and 3 version of that. Oh, disabling the turret there, allowing the dive. Gonna see NRF look to dive in, back onto Bokenbop, flashing back away, but immediately NRF with the assassination. Colorless knocked backwards by that buster shot. Will we see Lonely dead? The next to fall, indeed he is. Avenger thinking about jumping in, deciding against it, and even on the backside, Chieftain gonna be in trouble here. Throws out that cocoon. NRF blade surges to a Spiderling. Lee's kind of countering herself there, and man, NRF clocking in for his 4th kill of the game. Destron totally fearless, heading up towards this Baron. There's a Locker of the Iron Solari to save his life. You'll see it used right there.
Korea is moving this way. They might try to snipe it.
Yeah, there's some Varus counter ability there. Needs to have a cleanse. It doesn't have the cleanse, and Fire Rain is out of there.
And free Baron is down. I think this game has run away for China a bit. They have taken it to a whole new level. Korea will have to think about next game.
AD carry for SK Telecom T1 Bang had an incredible win rate on Kalista. One of the longest win rates on any champion in League of Legends. Unfortunately, recently broken. However, maybe that signals maybe a downfall towards Kalista just in general. Certainly strong at dealing with these super minions. There's gonna be oh no, we're not even gonna get the chance to see the Rend. Scumbag observers taking our enjoyment away from us. No, just kidding. Actually, pretty epic observing, pointing out all the important stuff, and big thanks to our Korean observers for letting us see all the action today. Like I was saying, the Callista pick not really working out. I think the bigger power pick that we should see a great contribution from, but aren't, has been Fire Rain's Varus. I really hyped that up, and while it did work yesterday, it's just really been punished super hard today, and of course looking towards contributions on the other side, that Rise is just starting to get ridiculous. 3.5 items completed if you count the boots. It's so difficult to deal with.
Well, you do have an Aurelia that triple jumps and destroys your whole team, and if Tristana that can jump in and kill everybody at once.
And if you have a Trinity Force power spike was strong, just see that Sterak's Gauge on top of it. Sterak's Gauge actually gives you 25 additional base AD, which is then factored into Trinity Force as well, because it does give you that Rage passive off of the Sheen effect based on your base AD. So it just makes that burst even stronger. NRF is a very scary assassin to deal with. And like you said, just like a million jumps on the back line, blows Bok and Bop up every single time. Boken Bop up. There we go. Feels a little bit weird to say. Tunneling, magical journeying all the way through the wall. This will be the third dragon of the game here for Vici Gaming Academy. No one going in there to save things out there. And oh, Chieftain, he's in a little bit of a rough spot. And by that I mean a lot of a rough spot. Even just a monster at this point.
I'm seeing a Rise ban next game.
A
pickle ban.
It's going to be Rise. You have to ban GP as well, or Picket. But of course, they're swapping sides. Lonely first picking this Hecarim has been strong early on, but doesn't have the team to back him up when he engages, and of course no way to defend this bottom inhibitor going down, and possibly even no way to defend this top lane push from a Rise that is absolutely dominating.
Raining away through the minions, but I don't think this is going to be enough for them. This should be an easy push, yes. Rise getting the top cell, they can't
Even
split.
just daring anyone to come try to deal with him. Boken Bop, by the way, not the answer to the Rise push. He's gonna have Colorless along with him, and I think Korea wants to force a fight here. Vici staying for this inhibitor, and they will be able to take it down. Teacher there to land the last hit, and Korea down 2 inhibitors in this first game. Best of 5 grand finals. Oh no, he's turning around for Lonely. He's got a lot of damage there. Will go ahead and use that cleanse to save himself. Magical Journey gets him to the backside. Colorless goes in, goes back out, goes back in again. A lot of damage there, but even so much burst. Boken Bop out of there. Destron with the kill. Chieftain gonna get locked down there by the Equilibrium Strike. NRF for the kill, and Fire Rain forward with the damage, but needs to be careful of his immobility. Avenger's super low, but super out of there. No Ezreal ults, no Lux ults, no Super Mega Death Rockets, and very low health, but Vici Academy out alive.
Huge miscommunication. I think the idea here was Hecarim ulting in right after Cannon, but ulti on cooldown, low. You could clean up if he had those.
He could clean up if he had the magical ability to be where he needs to be instead of where he is. Turns out if a champion could be wherever he wanted and there are low health champions on the map, that would be a good place to be.
Wow, yes.
Unfortunately, we can't all be, was it Dr. Destructo? I forget who that Urgot player was, but turns out Destron has been a huge force this game on that Rek'Sai. Definitely bannable in the next game, or at least pickable, depending on how much you value that Lee Sin pick. Destron, he synergized mid lane by helping crush down Fire Rain. Then he went towards the top half of the map to alleviate the pressure from NRF after Lonely got some early kills. And while yes, Chieftain was able to just be devastatingly strong getting kills early on, now he finds himself with all these damage items, whereas, of course, for Destron, he is ridiculously tanky on top of having all of that damage from even actually going for the Titanic Hydra coming up next.
Well, if only Chieftain had the team to back him up. Same as Lonely. Let's see.
He's got to get the rest of his tribe behind him as he continues to push forward. That is going to be a big base call. This time it actually does affect Fire Rain. Waiting for the knock up there. Turnaround on the Chains of Corruption. Destron very low and will go down. Lonely still alive there, pushing out of the base, but Chieftain super low. There's a reset for Avenger. Jumping defensively. Got more kills coming Vici Academy's way. Boken Bop kiting backwards. There's a lockdown. Immediately QSS, but not quickly enough. We got 1 kill. We got a second one. Avenger jumping sideways, not onto the fountain. Vici Gaming Academy representing China deep inside his Korean base. for the close 36-minute game, but finally, China will crush through those Nexus turrets, and with a death on the Nexus, China will take game number 1 in the IESF 7th Esports World Championship Finals.
It's a dominating performance. I mean, really
What a pick there. NRF very strong in the top lane, Korea strong early, but China able to close out game number 1, and that will take us into game number 2 of this best of 5 League of Legends Finals. If you guys have enjoyed it so far, make sure to stick around. We'll be right back with game 2 coming up.